Hi, David Odell here with Odell Complete Concrete. We've just arrived on the job site. We recently did the one across the street, which will show the finished product a month later in one of the videos eventually. But right now we're focusing on this particular project here. We're going to remove this whole driveway. We're going to widen the driveway all the way to the property line, remove that brick planter, put a block wall there, pour the new driveway against the block wall, all the way down the side yard. We're going to remove that wrought iron gate because we're going to go back to the back of this garage. The driveway on this side is going to get widened as well, widening it all the way to the outside edge of the garage, straight down here to the back of city sidewalk. All right, that about wraps up this project. Driveway, block wall, and make it a lot nicer here. All right, here we are breaking out the concrete. We have the CTX 100 Vermeer, the breaker attachment, and this one's coming out a lot easier than the one across the street. Remember the one with the pebble tech on the surface and wire mesh in it? Well, that was the previous video. But here there's no wire mesh in it. It's pretty thin. It's really cracked up bad. So this is coming out really easy and fast. Matter of fact, this concrete is so soft, rather than cracking, it's just punching holes through it. If you get a real hard concrete, before it'll punch a hole through it, normally it'll crack it, but this concrete's pretty soft. So as we scooped this out, we found that it did have a heavy sand base underneath it. And that's pretty good, a good base when you're working on top of an expansive soil. So right away I knew, wow, this is expansive soil. It's got a lot of sand under it to displace the movement of the native. So I'm going to bring in some crushed road base basically on this one and compact it. So we have Avery, and we have Timmy and Tyler, and then myself on this job site. Timmy and Tyler happen to be my sons, and then I'm David. And the easy way to remember that is TNT Dynamite. We have matching dump trailers in here and matching trucks. The only difference between the trucks is one has four-wheel drive and one doesn't. And it's about 4 years newer. Here's the road base coming in. Basically it's crushed concrete, and it does reactivate to some degree when you add water and compact, so it gets real hard. You can see the driveway across the street, and if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll recognize that house we had just completed. Here's a block wall with a brick cap and stucco going in. This is the footer dig, but that complete wall build, stucco and brick cap's going to be in part 2. On this particular part, we're just going to focus on the complete setup. I over excavated a little bit here to allow for the road base to go in. That's why I generated that pile of dirt. Also, it was from the wall footing dirt as well. Also, we're going to be widening the actual driveway approach a little bit on this particular project. Just the parkway area. We're going to be doing that with matching brick that's going to go on the wall and in the parkway. This is actually part one of a 3-part series. This is all the base getting spread. We brought in about 3.5 tons of base here. We don't have much slope coming out of that side yard, so the driveway breaks off, as you can see from the front. Here's the expansion foam going on the city sidewalk. This city sidewalk, just like the previous video, is going to be coming out real soon. It's already been marked up by the city what areas need to come out, and this is actually one of the sections that'll be coming out real soon. So that's why it's a good idea to have this foam in there. That way when they come in here and do the demo, it's not going to disturb the nice new driveway. So we're just checking the level of the foam there, and that's crucial because that's what the top of concrete is going to go to. So the foam determines the height of the concrete, and you don't want it low, especially when the water's all traveling downhill. Here you don't want to get backed up behind the sidewalk. Still using that Tomahawk plate compactor, as you can see there. Got that on the previous job across the street. And the reinforcement that we're going to be using on this one is going to be the 3/8 fiber rod. Basically fiberglass, 3/8 inch diameter. We're going to be putting it on about 2-foot centers. Also, we're going to throw an additive into the concrete truck when they arrive, and that's going to be another type of reinforcement. It's fiber mesh. And I add about a pound per yard. In between the two different types of fiberglasses, the one that you see here and the one that we're going to be adding in the concrete truck, the additive to the concrete mix is mostly just for shrinkage cracks, but this particular fiberglass that you see here is more of the structural related aspect of it. In other words, it's going to stop it when it does crack, because you know all concrete does crack. But when it does crack on one of the control joints, hopefully it won't move or separate. Hi, we're in the backyard where we're tying the fiberglass rebar in the driveway, and we took a look back here. What you have here is rebar in the pool coping. This is poured in place pool coping, and there's a piece of rebar right here, and what's happening is it's rusting. and it's expanding, and it's eventually going to completely destroy this concrete right here. So this will all have to be replaced. That's the difference between the fiberglass rebar and steel reinforcement. The same thing happened to this entire pool before he had it replastered. They had to take big sections of the actual pool out, cut all the rebar out, fill it back with concrete, replaster. So that's why I used the fiberglass rebar, because we won't have this problem. Well, that's interesting. I mean, if you start looking around on the ground at concrete and you start seeing cracks that run perfectly straight every couple feet or 1 foot, you notice a pattern. It's most likely steel that's rusting underneath in the concrete. So right here is where we have very minimal slope out of this backyard, because we have to match that existing concrete. And we also have the garage floor to contend with matching. So we're not going to get a lot of slope out of there. Anyway, thanks for watching part 1 of a 3-part series. Have a good day.